Hello, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Algabot, your guide to the world of automated trading on MetaTrader 5. Today we're taking a close look at an expert advisor called Marubozu Thrust Breakout. This is a pure price action system. It uses no indicators at all, no moving averages, no RSI, no ATR. Instead, it reads raw candles, hunting for one powerful momentum candle that punches clean through recent market structure. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly how it spots a breakout, how it places its stop and target, and how to tune every single setting. Let's dive in. So what does this expert advisor actually do? At its heart, Marubozu Thrust Breakout is built on a very simple idea. A genuine burst of momentum tends to leave a fingerprint on the chart. That fingerprint is a Marubozu-like candle. In Japanese candlestick language, a Marubozu is a candle with a large body and almost no wicks, meaning price opened near one extreme and closed near the other with very little hesitation. When that kind of candle appears, and it's also noticeably bigger than the candles around it, the strategy treats it as a thrust, a sign that one side of the market has taken firm control. But a big candle on its own can just be noise. So the strategy adds a second, crucial filter. That thrust candle only matters when it also breaks a recent swing level. For a buy, the candle must close above the highest high of the recent look-back window, the resistance. For a sell, it must close below the lowest low, the support. This is what turns simple expansion into a structural breakout. We're not just trading a big candle. We're trading a big candle that breaks the recent range. This expert advisor works on any symbol and any time frame you attach it to, because everything it needs comes from raw open, high, low, and close prices. It's completely self-contained. There are no external indicators to lag behind the move. Who is it suited for? This is a tool for traders who think in terms of momentum and breakouts. People who like the idea of joining a move at the moment it accelerates, rather than predicting tops and bottoms. It evaluates the market once per closed candle, so it's methodical rather than frantic. And remember, throughout this video, everything here is for educational purposes only. We're studying how the logic works, not making any promise about results. Let's walk through the exact logic, step by step. The expert advisor only acts when a new candle closes. The bar still forming is ignored. The moment a fresh bar opens, the one that just finished becomes the candidate it examines. This keeps every decision based on settled, confirmed prices. First, the strategy measures the candidate candle's body against its total range. The body is the distance from open to close. The range is the distance from high to low. If the body fills at least the configured fraction of the range, by default about 65%, the candle qualifies as Marubozu-like, with small wicks and decisive direction. If the wicks are too large, the candle is rejected immediately. Second, the EA checks for expansion. It adds up the ranges of the recent candles behind the thrust and forms an average. The thrust candle's range must exceed that average by the expansion factor, by default 1.6 times. This is the momentum test. The move has to stand out from the recent background, not just match it. Third, the strategy detects structure. Looking back across the look-back window behind the thrust, it records the highest high as resistance and the lowest low as support. These are the levels a real breakout must clear. Now the decision. If the candle is bullish, meaning it closed above its open, and its close is above resistance, the EA signals along. If the candle is bearish, closing below its open, and its close is below support, the EA signals a short. Only one position per magic number is allowed at any time, so it won't stack trades. When a long fires, the entry is taken at the current ask. The stop loss is placed just below the thrust candle's low, with a small buffer underneath, expressed as a fraction of the candle's range. The distance from entry to stop becomes the defined risk. The take profit is then set at a fixed multiple of that risk, by default 2 times, projected above the entry. For a short, everything mirrors. Entry is at the bid, the stop sits just above the candle's high plus the buffer, and the target is projected the same reward multiple below. The candle itself defines the risk, and the reward to risk setting defines the price. Let's watch the strategy trade on this illustration. Notice there's no oscillator panel here, because this expert advisor uses no indicators. The only reference lines are the swing levels drawn from the candles themselves. On the left, price drifts sideways in a tight range. The candles are small and balanced, and the highest high settles into a resistance line near 1.0865. The average candle range here is modest, and that quiet background is exactly what the strategy needs as a baseline. Then comes the seventh candle. It opens low and closes high with almost no wick, a textbook bullish thrust. Its body fills most of its range, and that range is far larger than the recent average. Crucially, it closes above the resistance line. Both conditions are met, so the buy entry triggers right here. The stop would rest just below this candle's low, and the target is projected 2 times that risk above. Over the next candles, price follows through and climbs into the take profit, completing the long. Now watch the right side. After the rally, price stalls and forms a new, smaller range, carving out a fresh support level near 1.0878. Then a sharp, bearish thrust appears, a tall candle with a large body and tiny wicks that closes below that support. Expansion and breakdown align, so the sell entry triggers. The stop would sit just above this candle's high, and price slides lower into its take profit target, completing the short. One pattern, 2 directions, all from raw candles. This is purely an educational walkthrough of the logic. Let's go through every setting so you can tune this expert advisor with intent. The first is ThrustBodyRatio, defaulting to 0.65. This is how much of the candle's range the body must fill to count as a Marubozu. Raise it towards 0.90 and you demand cleaner, more decisive candles, which means fewer but stronger signals. Lower it towards 0.50 and you accept more candles, but some will have larger wicks. Next is RangeExpansion, defaulting to 1.60. This is how much larger the thrust's range must be compared to the recent average. A higher value, closer to 3.0, insists on truly explosive candles. A lower value near 1.10 lets through milder expansions and trades more often. Structure loopback, defaulting to 12, sets how many bars behind the thrust are scanned to find the swing high and swing low that define the breakout level. A longer lookback means more significant, harder to break levels. A shorter one reacts to nearer-term structure. Average range period, defaulting to 14, is the window used to build the average range baseline for the expansion test. Think of it as how far back the strategy looks to define normal. Stop buffer PCT, defaulting to 0.20, adds breathing room to the stop, placed beyond the candle's extreme as a fraction of its range. A larger buffer gives the trade more slack, but widens the risk. RewardRisk, defaulting to 2.00, sets the take profit as a multiple of the measured risk. 2 means the target is twice the stop distance. Push it higher for ambitious targets that are hit less often, or lower for closer, more frequently reached ones. Finally, lots, defaulting to 0.10, is your fixed position size. Always align this with sensible risk management for your own account. And that brings us to the end of our deep dive into Marubozu Thrust Breakout. We covered how it spots a Marubozu thrust candle, how it confirms momentum through range expansion, and how it only trades when that candle breaks recent support or resistance. We walked through the entry and exit logic, the stop and target, every parameter, and how to run your own backtest. Remember, everything here is educational content only and not financial advice. If you found this useful, please hit the like button, subscribe for more MetaTrader 5 strategy breakdowns, and drop a comment telling me which expert advisor you'd like me to analyze next. You can find more at www.algobot.live. Past performance does not guarantee future results. Trade responsibly.